All right, we're going for it. Hello, welcome to Rice and Beans. This is week number not one. We're here today with Peace.
Hey.
What's your last name, Peace?
My last name is Obi, spelled O-B-I.
That's a really cool last name. Very jealous.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, people tell me not to claim Atlanta, so really I'm from Fayetteville, Georgia, if you know where that is. If you don't, it's really close to Atlanta. But my family is originally from Nigeria, and my parents came here about the 80s, early 80s, and so we've been in Georgia ever since.
Oh, wow. So that's like, so they moved in their generation then?
Yes, they moved in their generation. My dad came here on an educational visa, and my mom later came on a marriage visa.
Are they still like... Actually, you don't have to talk about immigration.
They are. Oh, wait. What? Where's your question?
Are they good and stuff?
Oh, with immigration? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, actually, I learned that for a long time they weren't citizens. They were just like... I think it's called you're naturalized.
Yeah.
But I think around the time I was born, which was 1997, sometime around that time, they actually like took their citizenship test and everything. So it was a lot easier back then, probably.
Okay.
Of course, a lot less restrictions. So.
Have you guys ever talked about like whether they were nervous back then when they were not yet citizens and stuff? Because I know now there's just like now I would see why people would be extremely nervous, but I don't know about why back then.
I never did, but I'm assuming if they had the chance to become citizens and they just didn't feel like taking their test for so long, that there wasn't a lot of anxiety and nervousness. I feel like a lot of that stuff didn't come into play until 9/11, and considering that was way before 9/11,
Oh, I see.
Like I don't think there was a lot of anxiety around that.
Yeah, we could draw like a graph with 9/11 as like the point.
Right.
All right, so we have talked with Nigerians before on the show, not on the YouTube version.
Okay.
But something that I thought was really interesting was like the tribes.
Yeah.
So do you happen to know like what tribe you descend from?
Yes. So my family's from the Igbo tribe.
Oh.
Igbo is one of the three main ones, but like there's hundreds of tribes in Nigeria, different little tribes. So
What are the other three big ones?
the other one is Yoruba, and then the other one is Hausa. I think in terms of numbers, I want to say Igbos are the largest. No shade to anyone else, but I think geographically Hausas take up a large proportion of Nigeria. So yeah.
So like, why is this? Is this like this tribe thing very prominent in other African countries? Do you know?
Yeah, I think Africa is just a continent full of, with a lot of countries with a lot of tribes. So, I'm not really sure where the tribes came from. I don't know if it's like colonization type of thing, but there's a lot of, I want to say like hundreds of different tribes probably in every single country. So, yeah.
So you say Igbo?
Igbo.
Igbo.
Yeah.
So what are some things that make the Igbo the Igbo?
That make the Igbo the Igbo. Let's see. I mean, honestly, I'm be really honest with you, because I think at the school it's an interesting thing that people get really like hung up on, like, oh, I'm Igbo, oh, I'm Yoruba, like, oh, we're better than you. And like, I think that's kind of stupid, because like we're all Nigerian and we do so many things similar. We eat so many similar foods. I want to say we listen to similar music, and there's things to differentiate, like dress type wise. Ways that I heard Yorubas throw like crazy parties, but I don't think Igbo's party that hard. So just things like that that I think differentiate us. But I think we're similar along so many different lines.
What would be like a good metaphor for someone who's like living in the States to try to understand what this dynamic is like?
This dynamic of Igbo,
just like the different tribes within the same country that are like really similar but yet different.
I guess you could like, on some scale, maybe equate it to like high school, when you have like different high schools and like, oh, we're like the Bears, like we're gonna play the Patriots tonight, a Friday night. I don't know, kind of like a high school rivalry, but like y'all are all in high school.
Yeah, that kind of
y'all do the same thing.
That kind of metaphor is exactly what I was looking for. Because like, you're high schoolers, but like there's all these this like subtle difference things.
Right.
Do you think those differences make them unique?
Maybe.
Are they still like celebrated to this day, or is it just kind of like an ancestry type thing?
I think they're still unique to this day, and they're still celebrated largely today. There's a lot of people who take pride in who they are, just outside of being Nigerian, like, oh, I'm Igbo, or like, oh, I'm Yoruba. There's a lot of people who take pride in like their family lineage, like, oh, I come from a family of royalty, quote unquote. I can't verify that. But yeah, there's a lot of people who still take pride in that to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So as we were walking over here, you said something about you were you weren't Americanized until you got here.
Yeah.
So you were born in the U.S. though.
Yeah, I was born in the U.S.
So how did your parents somehow maintain this Nigerian culture, like growing up? I think that's really cool.
I don't think my parents did that much to maintain it. Like I said, I didn't feel Americanized till I came to the school because I started meeting a lot of other Nigerians that were like really prideful to be Nigerian, and I was always just like, you know, like growing up, I didn't go to like that many African parties with my parents. I mostly went with like my uncle and my cousins. My cousin also goes to school, so her family was like big socializers. I was always going to Nigerian functions, mostly through them. Like my parents went, but on a very less consistent basis. And they cook Nigerian food, but they never also taught us the language. They only speak it amongst themselves, like their secret language, my parents. So we don't know Igbo versus like other people who know the language, or like they understand it. Like I don't understand it, so I always felt that disconnect. Like I'm not like that Nigerian compared to other people who like know the language, let alone if they can speak it. I didn't go to Nigerian church. I went to an American church. That's another thing that like.
What is this Nigerian church?
Just like the people who make up the church are Nigerian, so you'll sing Nigerian music. Like you'll be around your aunties and your uncles every Sunday. When they have functions, you'll eat Nigerian food. Like,
so what is Nigerian food? Now we brought it up twice.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you Nigerian food. So, Nigerian food is like definitely jollof rice. Fried rice is a big thing. I don't think it's particularly Nigerian, but we eat a lot of fried rice. People make it in their different ways.
What is jollof rice?
Jollof rice is white rice. With like this tomato puree type of thing, and you just mix it together. But I can't speak for everyone's jollof rice because apparently other countries can make jollof rice. Yeah. But like really, there's only Nigerian jollof rice.
I heard there's beef between Nigerian jollof rice and was it Malian jollof
Maybe
rice?
Ghanaian. Yeah, but you know. We won't speak on that. It's only Nigerian jollof rice.
All right, I'll stay impartial as a host.
It's only Nigerian jollof rice, but jollof rice is a big staple. Goat meat is pretty popular. I don't eat goat meat because that's weird. But meat, chicken, beef, moi moi is like a bean paste type of thing. You grind up some black eyed peas and like deer. I don't know. You just like make it, boil it, and it turns into like a bean paste.
So why do you think jollof rice is so widespread?
Because it tastes so good and it's so simple. Like, it's just white rice and, like, well, it's simple, but you gotta have the right ingredients and seasonings. And I just think it's very unique. Like, fried rice, like, Africans make fried rice. Some Asian countries make fried rice. Like, that's a pretty widespread thing. But, like, jollof rice is very unique to, I'll say West Africa. I don't know other parts make jollof rice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's see, other Nigerian things. When you're saying Nigerian functions, the first thing that came to my mind is the elegant Nigerian weddings.
Oh, Nigerian weddings.
So can you tell us about Nigerian weddings?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been to a Nigerian wedding. Let's see, the last one I went to, I can't remember, but I know I used to go to a lot more in my childhood. Typically, they're very, I don't want to say disorganized, but it's just a lot going on because it's a lot of people usually. The Nigerians, like, you got to invite everyone. It's not enough to do like a small little get together. Like, everyone who you've known since your birth needs to be invited. So it's a lot of people, it's a lot of food. Usually it's buffet style, like they just lay out food and people go and get their food.
Wow.
There's a lot of dancing and a lot of spraying of money, so that's a...
Spraying of money?
Yeah, I think that's like...
Do they spray money different colors, or do they...
No, they just, people dance. Typically, like, it'll start with the people who are getting married, and then other guests will join in, and, like, when they're dancing, like, you'll just have, like, a stack of ones, and, like, just kind of, almost like, you know.
Yeah, you're making it rain. Wait, so, okay, so far we have buffets, we have money getting thrown at you while you're
also,
dancing.
And traditional clothing.
In traditional clothing, okay. So far, this sounds like a great place to be. All right, what is this traditional clothing? Can you describe it?
Yeah, so typically at a wedding, you'll probably see a lot of lace. You'll probably see a lot of women. You'll see a lot of women wearing lace skirt and blouse combinations, or just like a lace dress. And you'll see jollof, which is a head wrap, very colorful, very big and vibrant.
Yeah.
Men.
That's like the first thing I thought of when I thought of like Nigerian weddings.
Yeah. That's it's a creative statement. A big creative statement. Some people like to wear theirs like really, really wide and out there, and pick vibrant colors. Like they may wear white lace and then like a pink head wrap or something, something to make your outfit pop. So that's like a big fashion statement with women.
So what's the reason for like this high attention to the dress at these weddings being like a guest?
Yeah.
Do you think there's
I
a
don't
reason?
know. It's just culture. Like, you just show out. You just come
I
up
love
and
it.
show up and show out.
Yeah, like I know that my friends, last time she had a Nigerian, she went to her Nigerian wedding.
Yeah.
She's sending me videos and Snapchats and stuff, and everyone was just done up to the T.
Yeah, it's
like
a lot
everyone's going
on.
all out.
Yeah, show up, show out.
Mhm.
Go big or go home.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How else are you able to experience Nigerian culture growing up in quote unquote Atlanta?
Yeah. Oh, quote unquote.
The suburb of
Definitely
Atlanta.
through the food. I didn't. There were like not a lot of other Nigerian kids growing up going to school. So really just my cousins, like my family. I didn't live far from my cousins, so like we hung out a lot. Like I spent a lot of time at their house. Their parents, pushed forth the culture a lot more in their house. So we had to they spoke a lot more Igbo, listened to a lot more music, went to a lot of more Nigerian functions. So just spending time with my family, that helped a lot. Yeah, those are the ways I was able to connect back home.
That's cool. It sounds like so far on Race and Music, we've noticed that like family is kind of a link to this.
Yeah.
To that cultural preservation.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think like cultural preservation should be something that everyone should strive to do?
To an extent. I think there's pros and cons to it. Sometimes it can be like really annoying because then like when you're ready to make different moves in your life, like say get married, sometimes it's like a family conflict, like, oh, is he Nigerian? Oh, is he from our tribe? Like, that's an issue sometimes versus, like, should it really matter? So I think there's certain times cultural preservation is really important. And, like, I feel like it's up to the individual. Like, how do you want to raise your kids? Like, I don't know if I'll be able to teach my kids Igbo. Because I don't know Igbo, but I would like them to stay connected to that. But, yeah, I think yeah.
What about you personally? How would you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm like really open to whatever happens. Like if I feel like it's not enough. I can't carry it on my own. Like I probably couldn't keep this Nigerian lineage pride going on my own. But like if I started a family with someone else who's Nigerian, that will provide a lot of extra help and support that like we can instill that in generations to come. If I don't know what happens, but
it gets tougher and tougher each subsequent generation.
It really does, yeah. So there's not. I wouldn't say it's anything I'm ashamed of. Like I want them to know, but it's just like sometimes it doesn't feel like the defining moment of my identity. So it would be hard to like pass that on to my kids.
So does that mean that you feel more like African American than you do African?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't think so. I think when I attend like African American functions and Nigerian functions, I feel like a little out of place in both, and I feel a little at home with both. Especially like where I grew up with a lot of like African Americans. Those are most people who I went to school with. So I didn't grow up around a lot of Nigerians. Versus coming here, where it's like, oh, okay, there are people that like share the same background with me. Like that's cool. Like getting immersed into that community also. So there's like, I feel like half and half sometimes.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Can we spend the last couple of minutes talking about African versus African American? Because I feel like that's something that the common person doesn't really think about.
Yeah.
Because they think like any African in America is African American, but I know a lot of people around here who identify as African.
Yeah.
And if you say African American, they might get a little bit unhappy.
Yeah. It's such a dicey subject, and there's so many different layers to it. I remember when I first came here, I have one of my really good friends. I thought we were really good friends, but it came to like December, and she's like, "Oh, Peace, you're Nigerian? I thought you were African American this whole time." Like, oh, like, am I not like giving you off enough vibes or something? And I mean, I don't think that's anything to get offended off of. But yeah, there's just like this thing of like sometimes. I don't know what it is. I'm personally not very big on like the division. I don't think it really matters. Like we share the same skin color, we share a lot of the same history, and we share a lot of the same like culture in some ways. So I don't think there's a lot of need for the division, but I think there is a lot of division of like, oh, Black people act this way, and like we're a little better because we're Nigerian or we're African, or we act this way. We come from a different background, and like sometimes I play into that too. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes like, okay, well, see, I wasn't raised like that because I'm Nigerian,
See.
So I think that's a big part. Yeah, and I think also this thing of like knowing where you come from, like sometimes it's held as an advantage by Africans, like, oh, I come from this country, this tribe, like I know where my roots are.
Yeah, like a clear
versus
identity.
African Americans, where it's like, oh, y'all don't know where y'all come from. Y'all, your ancestors were slaves brought somewhere from Africa.
Yeah, and do you think that's like a source of deep deep like angst,
Yeah,
not
I
knowing
think
where
so
you
too.
come from.
Yeah, and I can't say that I understand it because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it'd be like, okay, so what? Like, you don't know. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? But I have African American friends here who are like, it must be so nice to know where you come from. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Jeez, that's a perspective that I should try to go and seek out for future
I think
episodes
so. I
of
think
Rice
it's
and
really
Beans.
interesting because I think all Black people and Africans have their own perspective on that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no
It's
problem.
great
Thank
speaking
you for having
piece.
me.
Don't forget, guys, that we upload the weekly meal playlist every week to keep you with those fresh tunes, and we also have that to go box playlist with every song we've ever played on Rice and Beans since its inception. We're going now into like year 4 of Rice and Beans, so that's a lot. It's like over 300 songs. That will keep you occupied on your trip to Mars or something. So thanks for tuning in to Rice and Beans. Have a great week, guys.